Our low budget mage deck only costs 1520 Arcane Dust to make. That does not include the common cards, and it's a perfect deck for getting you through to at least rank 10. Look, this deck is extremely aggressive and you should have no problem putting any opponent under immense pressure in the early to mid game, while powerful finishes will help you win games even if the board gets out of control later on. Your starting hand will define your early game, and you should always attempt to mulligan away any mid to late game cards. The early game is extremely important when playing an aggressive mage, and your choices during this stage of the match will have a major impact on your late game. Your minions should put as much pressure on your opponent as possible, and you should engage in minion trading only if you are given the opportunity to create card advantage. You should not attempt to save your spells for later stages of the match, but rather use them as minion removal to clear the path for your minions. Once you pass the early to mid game, you should consider saving your damage spells so you can use them to finish your opponent off. So as I said earlier, our starting hand has to have cards that only relate to the early to mid game. This looks like a good starting hand. We can certainly work with this. And keep in mind that my whole approach to this game is going to be super aggressive, trying to hit him in the face as much as possible. I'm only going to trade minions when it leads to a decisive advantage on the board. I'm quite comfortable with that opening hand. So let's lead out with the Fairy Dragon. Always a bit cautious about playing Knife Juggler too soon.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
So like I said, we'll get in for some early damage. As much as possible early on.
Dingo! Yes.
So that's a pretty good play from him, trying to slow me down. I'm not going to use my fireball because I need to save that for bigger creatures. So let's see if we can't get a random 1 point on the taunt creature. Nope. So I think I'll just sit at home this turn. I know that goes against what I've been saying, but I think it'll work out best for us. He's already used his coin, so I know he can't play Holy Nova this turn. But I am fully expecting him to when he hits 5 mana. Okay, I think that was a mistake by him. I think he should have taken out at least one of my creatures. So knowing that I'm going to lose all my creatures next turn, I'll start off with the 3 damage and then lose the Novice Engineer. And this way I can keep my fireball for bigger creatures later on, or throw it at his face if I get lucky. As expected. Quite a good top deck, so let's lead out with the Juggler. Get in the incidental extra damage. So at 6 mana, I'm expecting him to play a big taunt creature, which is what I'm saving my fireball for.
The gates are open.
Perfect.
Someday I'll be just like
So I guess the best response is another Holy Nova. I'd be surprised if he's got it, but it's pretty much all that's going to keep him in the game at this stage. Ah, luck sack. A very lucky opponent.
I hope you like my invention.
And see how quickly this deck has come back. Really depends what I draw next.
Tazdingo! Yes!
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Okay, again, I'm not sure that he should have thrown the 2 damage to my head. That shield bearer is going to be hard to get around.
If you're sure.
So a lot of people may have disagreed with that move, but I still retain control of the board. He is on a fairly low amount of life. And even if he spams creatures, I can freeze them all.
Hey, give me that!
Oh, if you're sure.
Mind if I roll need?
Now I'm really okay if he kills one of my Death Rattle creatures. But given the way that this guy's been playing, I fully expect him to maybe attack to the face.
Behold the might of Stormwind!
Okay, so no taunt creatures, so he has to kill at least one of my creatures, which is completely okay. Oh, it's even better.
I feel icky!
And that should be pretty much game. We're going to be doing a minimum of 4 points this turn,
Hey, give me that!
Oh, if you're sure.
and then freezing all his minions. So he has no choice but to put out a taunt creature or somehow wipe my board. Now, given that I've been keeping track of the cards that he's been playing, I know that he can't do Holy Nova. So let's see how he uses the remaining 8 mana. Not a threat.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
And I couldn't care less. So that's game to us.
Well played.
Hey, give me that!
Thank you.
And hello, rank 19.